Hey everyone, it's Lucas D. So, patch 2.2 is out, and I just wanted to share with you guys my build I'm doing. So, I'm still doing a totems build, and I'm going with dual Bladefall Totems once again. And I wanted to test it out with the Marauder area with the Chieftain build. And a lot of you guys will be thinking, why go the Chieftain area, you know, and it's a lot of fire with totems in this build area, and you know, it might not make much sense, but this is what I wanted to try this out just for testing and things like that, and seeing if the progress works so far. It's a bit more tankier than the shadow area and that, and I kind of like was comfortable last time I was playing dual Bladefall Totems with the Marauder, so that's what I went with. And once I finished the 3 labyrinth stages, so normal, cruel and merciless, we were able to get 6 points to allocate, and the points I chose was the Moon's Presence. So over here, where enemies near your totems deal 8% less damage, enemies near your totems take 16% increased physical and fire damage, and another main one here, 15% chance to ignite, 35% increased damage against burning enemies. And then we've also got another main one here, the Death's Fury, which is gain 20% of physical damage as extra fire damage when you've killed recently. And I've tested this out because I wasn't sure if it worked with totems, and it actually does work. I can see my damage go up by at least 1000 DPS when it kicks in, so it does work, thank God. Otherwise I wouldn't be choosing this. But it also penetrates 10% fire resistance, and also 1% of fire damage leads to life. Doesn't affect me, affects the totems, so makes the totems more tankier, which is pretty damn good. Now, the other things I'll talk about is, you're probably wondering, Bladefall Totems, it's a physical skill, so why go with the Chieftain area and the Marauder area? Like I said before, a bit more tankiness. Also, I wanted to pick up life regeneration, as it is hardcore league, and the way this build works is we use a 5 link I've got currently at the moment, and I'm using blood magic as well. So the way blood magic works is I don't have to use any mana when I'm casting my Bladefall Totems. They do require a lot of mana, about 120 mana there, so it's quite a lot of mana. But as you can see here, I have 3 auras that I run. So I run Hatred, which gives 35% physical damage to cold damage. I run Herald of Thunder, which is also lightning damage to attacks, and I run Fire, physical damage, fire damage 15%, Herald of Ash. Now the reason why I have each element, and I'll go through this again, is I am a crit build, so that's another reason why. So this is a crit build, and as you can see here, we pick up the Shaman's Dominion, and we also pick up crit nodes and spell crit nodes. We're also going to be picking up these crit nodes over here, and the way it works is we get the elemental status alignments, which is over here. So we get 25% extra damage against frozen, shocked or ignited enemies, which is pretty good. We also penetrate the resistances as well. We also use Elemental Weakness Curse, which penetrates resistances by 37%, which is also good. And like I said before, with this is where it comes pretty cool. 35% increased damage against enemies that are ignited. Pretty much enemies are always ignited, which is fantastic. We have 16% increased damage here, and you'll see a little thing around the totems showing that, which is awesome as well. And up here too, we also penetrate 10% fire resistance, which is great, and 20% physical damage to fire damage. So that's why we pick up a lot of the elemental nodes. So we've got elemental nodes here, elemental nodes here, and elemental nodes here. And someone's attacking me. Okay, now DPS without any of the auras on, 6,774. Not too bad, but could use a little bit more. So we chuck the auras on, and we get almost up to 10k DPS, which is fantastic. Just remember, this is almost 10k DPS without any of those things we've talked about. So we've got 35% there, we've got 25% up here, and we've got another 20% there, so that's already 75% more damage. We've also got 16% there, so it's almost an extra 100% DPS when all those things happen, which gives you effectively 20k DPS per totem. That's per totem, so it's 40k DPS. Now that's one of the couple of things I wanted to mention, and I'll just demonstrate the totem effect right now. Also, it's a crit build, so crits quite a lot, which is awesome, and it works pretty well with clearing these areas. So I'll just open this chest up and show you just how quick the effectiveness is. Why do I do that for? Detonates nearby corpses. So just get out of there. As you can see, the corpses go pretty quick and they're dead. Okay. Yes, this is a merciless dried lake, which is pretty low level for me now, but I just wanted to show you just the effectiveness, how quick we take out the mobs. As you can see with the totems, you can see these little circles around them now. That just means that they deal, enemies around the totems deal 8% less damage, which is good for damage effectiveness for us. So we don't take too much damage, and the totems don't take too much damage, and also they take 16% increased fire and physical damage. Now if we have a look at the tooltip again, over here you can see my main damage. I've got 1188, 1784 physical, and I've got 84 to 637 lightning, and then I've got 961 to 1480 fire, so very high fire damage, which is good, and cold damage. As you can see, I've got damage from every element there, which is good. It's always good when certain monsters have a lot of armor, so I can rely on the elemental damage, and when some monsters have heaps of elemental damage, I can rely on the physical damage. So it just, you know, suits most people's needs and stuff like that. Now that's the build basically. When starting with the build, you will start in the Marauder area, which is a lot more difficult to start off in compared to other areas like the Shadow area or Witch area or things like that. But the way you want to start off is you want to pretty much be melee, and you can use a couple of abilities. You won't be able to get Earthquake until Act 3, or Cyclone until Act 3, so pretty much you start off using Sunder. You don't really need to pick up any of the melee physical nodes. Just pick up Born of Flight when you lean into the template area, which is pretty much, you keep it towards now as well. So, and you pick up the AoE damage nodes. Just keep on picking up the extra damage nodes. Don't worry about the totem stuff till at least you get past level 50 to 60, and then you can start picking up all the totem stuff and all the spell stuff when you transition on to dual Bladefall Totems. Now, another thing I got to mention is when you're leveling at low levels, make sure you always have a good weapon. Make sure just a cheap weapon. Don't spend too much. Don't spend more than one chaos, but you can always find a good cheap two-hander weapon or one-hander with shield. It's up to you what you want to use. I'm not going to say how you want to play it, but just when leveling up and doing melee at the start with Marauder, it will be a little bit longer, but it is worth it down the run. It's pretty tanky, 4,800 life, and it's very fun. I've leveled up really quick with this character, level 79, and so far it's been great. So I think that's everything I wanted to mention. I'll just show you my gear real quick. So in here, everything is using blood magic, so I have to use elemental weakness with increased area of effect and blood magic, so that pretty much covers the whole screen now when I use that curse, which is awesome. So in our trigger gems area, we've got cast from damage taken, immortal core, molten shell, and summon flame golem. So that's the trigger gem setup. In the gloves, we've got the auras, hatred, herald of ash, and herald of thunder. In the boots, we've got fortify, leap slam, blood magic, and faster attacks. Now, I'm still using the leap slam ability because I was a melee character, and that's the setup I had and I was using, but You can change that. You can do the flame dash. Flame dash works really well with dual flame tones, as it gets you out of danger real quickly for any spellcaster. So just remember that too, guys. With the rings and the amulet, you want to look for cast speed, so make sure you get something with good cast speed. Make sure you get something with lots of strength, and you're going to need dex as well, so make sure you get dex. So I've got dex on my boots, gloves, rings, and a little bit on the amulet as well, and I've got a lot of strength as well, so as you can see. Okay guys, and of course the gem setup for the dual Bladefall Totems. So you got Bladefall, blood magic, added fire damage, spell totem, and iron will. Now this is the setup I have at the moment. I'd probably be swapping iron will out if I change the colors. And another good thing to use is faster casting. Faster casting is awesome for Bladefall Totems. As much as I can say it, if I had a 6-link, man, I'll definitely have faster casting in there. Iron will, I would definitely probably replace that with faster casting. Also concentrate effect. Concentrate effect is just unreal DPS. It does make the AoE a little bit smaller, but it's up to you what you want to do there, but mainly faster casting, very important. Concentrate effect, pretty cool as well if you've got another blue socket. There is also gloves you can use, which is called Repentance. You can use it if you've got 300 intellect, which I do not have yet. I have to get to a higher level. I've only got 200 intellect at the moment, but Repentance, what it effectively is it will give you Iron Will as a basically global Iron Will when you equip the gloves. So when you equip these gloves, you will have Iron Will. So you can replace that gem, Iron Will, with something else, and you can still have that effect on there, which is pretty awesome from your strength. So currently with this character we've got 400 strength, so that would effectively give you, I think Iron Will, let me just have a look, is 2% damage per 10 strength. So you're looking at 20%, about 80% extra spell damage, which is pretty good. Alright guys, so I'm Lucas D. That's just my quick video guide on dual Bladefall Totems in patch 2.2. If you guys were thinking of doing a Totems build, if you were still thinking if Bladefall has been nerfed, I don't think it's been nerfed. I still think it's freaking awesome. They did do a couple of slight changes, but Bladefall is just really good for boss fights, for clearing AoE speed, things like that. It's still a really good build, and I have had no troubles. I've been doing Dried Lake from level 70 to level 80, and I've been doing it level 70 to level 75. I was getting about 120k XP, million XP per hour. It was pretty quick. It's slowed down now to about 70-80 million in the Dried Lake, but maps is coming into play now, where I do the high tier maps, and it's it's still going to keep on going with good DPS and good survivability. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this guide's a little bit helpful if you're thinking about going with totems. It does work with the Chieftain build. You gotta just look at these little extra things here, and you get all these little bonus damages for elemental and physical, and the critical strike chance as well. So thanks for watching guys, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.